She'd say, what's your New Year's resolution going to be, darling? And I used to say the same thing every year. I'd say my New Year's resolution is I'm going to surf more and get better at jiu-jitsu. And it was funny because I was always trying to do that anyway. Every day I was trying to surf more and get better at jiu-jitsu. So a New Year's resolution wasn't going to change my habits. And to this day, I'm still trying to surf more and get better at jiu-jitsu. And I think I always will be doing those things. So what do I think would be a good New Year's resolution? When I do an assessment and look at my life, I think I have benefited the most from one thing that I do, and that is think strategic. Now, this is a military term. Strategic in the military means big picture. It means long term. Strategic in military terms is where you are going to end up. That's thinking strategic. And the opposite is tactical thinking. Tactical thinking, which again, in the military means short-term thinking. It means immediate action. It means what's happening right now. So there's a big difference. This is the differentiator for me, is thinking long-term versus thinking short-term. And I believe that this thinking long-term, this thinking strategic, is one of the most, if not the most important concepts a person can consider in order to improve themselves and improve their lives.
One of the big problems is sitting down and doing the work. And you got to, and Pressfield talks about that in the most concise and beautiful way. And he labels it like an enemy. He calls it resistance, you know, and that you have to sit down, you have to overcome resistance, and that the pro goes to work. And it doesn't matter if you're sick, it doesn't matter if you have kids, it doesn't matter what, you're a pro and you go to work. And that just, it puts it in your head that this is what I do. This is what, and you have pride in that. And then when you are in front of that keyboard and you look down the count, it says, I got 1,000 words today. I put 1,000 words in. You're doing the work. Yeah. And out of that work, gems blossom. Yeah. Little things, but you might have a day where you just write nothing but dog shit. So what? Show up again tomorrow. And tomorrow out of that dog shit, a flower will emerge. You never know. And that's the only way to develop real, to really develop your potential 100% in anything, whether it's as an author or even as a martial artist. There's a lot of creativity in martial arts. To be a great striker, you have to be creative, because you have to develop patterns or execute patterns that aren't going to be perceived. This idea that life is hard, something you're supposed to shield from them, it's so silly. And, you know, I've had this conversation with my friends because everybody that I know that's interesting had a fucked up life. But now we have kids, and the last thing we want is our kids to have a fucked up life. So we put our kids in these good schools, we live in these nice neighborhoods, everybody eats healthy, and there's no fucking domestic violence, and everybody seems, it's so different than all of our lives. And we were talking about it. Me and Brian Callen were actually talking about it. Look, we all had fucked up childhoods, and everybody we know had fucked up childhoods. And they're all interesting, but I don't want my kids to be boring, but I also want them to be safe. So it's like, how do you approach that? I mean, I think you get involved. This is what I've chosen to do, is get my kids involved in martial arts and give them the opportunity to pursue difficult things, and understanding that through pursuing these difficult things, like in accomplishing stuff, like you learn something about yourself. You learn that you have this ability inside of you to overcome. Get obsessed with life improvement. Find things that you enjoy doing that are difficult. Do them and get better. It seems so simplistic. It seems like a ridiculous, idealistic point of view, but it's effective. Well, you need some amount of pride and some amount of ego to get good at things in the first place, because it's such a counterintuitive notion, because you have to have a belief in yourself. You have to be able, like when you start out at jiu-jitsu, you're a white belt. Like, I remember being a white belt and being like, oh my God, I am fucking never going to get good at this. I'm going to suck forever.
If you look at it, whatever happens to you, just look at and view life that you're a student of the universe and say, what's in here for me to learn?
It's easy to get satisfied where we are. When we've seen blessing and favor, we can start thinking that we've seen our best days. But God never does His greatest feats in your yesterdays. They're always in your future. What God has in front of you is more fulfilling than anything you've seen in the past. But sometimes, before it gets brighter, it gets darker. There are times the good has to come to an end to make room for the best. Why did my business slow down? Why did this door close? It's all a part of God's plan. He's shaking things up to move you out of the good into the best. We may not like the process. We're doing the right thing, but the wrong thing is happening. Thoughts will tell you it's never going to get better. Don't believe those lies. That disappointment, the slow season, didn't stop what God has for you. Your relationship didn't work out. God knew it was going to happen. He's already lined up someone better than you can imagine. Your business has slowed down. That setback is not stopping you. It's setting you up for new levels. You may feel like you're coming to an end. You're running out of opportunity. What used to work is not working. Having a hard time making ends meet. Maybe you're running out of strength. You're weary. You can't take it anymore. When you come to the end, that's when God steps in and not just helps you get through it, but He says, I've saved the best for next. The best relationships, the best in your finances, the best in your health, the best in your family. You're happier than you've ever been.
You will not outwork me.
See, the real secret, and I tell this to everybody, you have to care about every minute of your day. It's too many people doing stuff that's non-productive. You ain't got time for that. If you ain't where you want to be, you got to be hustling. Right. You know, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separate.
Like that one.
It's the deal. And so every minute of my day is planned, even when whatever I do, you know, but look, man, if you got to smoke one every day, if you got to drink a cold one every day, if you got to make sure you watch Scandal when it come on Mondays, and you got to be there for Atlanta Housewives on Wednesday, if that's your schedule right there, I got some very startling news for you. You ain't going to make it. You ain't going to make it. You're not going to be successful. You're going to be ordinary, man. If you want to be ordinary, there's nothing wrong with that. There's far more ordinary people. So if your desire is to be ordinary, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be successful, if you want to have a quality lifestyle, to be able to play with the big boys, it's every minute of the day.
And the way you suffer is you focus on yourself.
Right.
Suffering comes when we obsess about ourselves, what we're getting or not getting, what we should have done, what others should have done for us. It's the me game. Here's my mission. Help people have an extraordinary, magnificent life. Now, what does that look like? Life on their terms. So your terms are completely different. So your metrics might be, I want to do this in my business, I want to do this in my body, you be that way. Somebody else might be, I want to be happy no matter what happens. That's my metric. I want to literally be honest that when I start to feel any form of suffering, I kill it like a dead bug and I crush it and I'm back into a beautiful state. An extraordinary life is life on your terms. And there's two parts. Part one to have an extraordinary life is mastering the skill of the science of achievement. How do I take what I envision and make it real? And how do I do that quicker, faster, better, easier? The ability to manifest what you come up with and make it real, like you've done with your company,
yes,
that's a skill set. I spend unbelievable amount of time helping people do it faster, quicker, better, showing them the shortcuts, teaching them the strategies, modeling what works so you can save yourself a decade. But I would submit to you that having done this for 38 years with, 50 million people at this stage, I can tell you that the science of achievement, there are a lot of people that are damn good at that, and they still don't have an extraordinary life. They have an extraordinary life. You see it as extraordinary, but I get the phone call from the multi-billionaire who tells me he wants to do this thing on his business, but what he really find out is he's miserable as hell, and he's hoping somehow I'm going to rub off on him on that side too. Right. And so I give him what he asked for, the change in his business, but I also give him what he needs, just the change inside of him. So the second skill is the art of fulfillment. If you want an extraordinary life, you can't just achieve, you got to be fulfilled. As simplistic as that sounds, but it's an art. It's not a science.
Sure. The word quit. The word quit. You have so many people in this world right now that focuses on the word quit. Why do you feel that the word quit should be your best friend? Why do you allow that word quit to enter your mind? Because you failed at a few things, you want to quit. Because you didn't make the cut, you want to quit. There are many successful people. In the world right now that went through all kinds of hell. People rejected them, gave them up, threw them away, but they came back with a vengeance. Now they're CEOs, billionaires. People didn't believe in them, but they didn't quit. So you have to understand that there are many people right now in this world that chooses the word quit over just working harder to get better. So we got to also understand that failure is a part of life. Failure is good for all of us. Sometimes you got to get your butt kicked a little bit so you can get back into the reality of things and humbling yourself and working a little bit better so that quit doesn't exist. You can't win every time. Everything you want doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get it, because that need and you being able to humble yourself all kind of goes together. And in reality, you will figure out just how bad and how serious you are when it comes to what it is you truly are seeking. Because if you truly want to get to a level in your life, you're going to have to fail. You're going to have to almost fail miserably. But when you fail miserably, it doesn't mean that you're done. It doesn't mean that it's over. So if you quit, you cannot come back from it. It's like starting everything over. How many times you've heard people say, hey, look, it's okay to start over. There's nothing wrong with starting over. I believe that starting over is not the way to go. But I do believe starting up is the right way to go. It's the best thing you can do. Maybe you got to just slow down a little bit, take a breath, and get focused again. Get back on track again. See the significance of what it takes to be the best that you can be within yourself. But you cannot quit. I know that I've been through these challenges so many times in my life. Being the man that I am today, I had to go through the hardship first, and I'm still going through challenges. But I will not quit. I will not quit because there are people that are dependent on me.
get in the game.